This is the river. The Algonquins called it Great River. Its tributaries drain over a third of a nation. Those who don't know it might think it a lazy, meandering river. But it has changed the face of the land, taken the tops off mountains, poured its waters over the banks for 2,000 miles. For over 400 years, men have fought the river, have beaten it sometimes, and have often lost. They have learned to respect it always. And this is the town, Lake Providence in northeast Louisiana, 385 miles by paddle steamer north of New Orleans. It's a nice town, a quiet town, a good place to live. A town whose life and fortunes have been shaped by the river. Here where the land is used wisely, cotton is king. And cotton, too, has helped to shape an unhurried life where a boy can play and walk across a levee and dream. But where the land meets the Mississippi, the tempo changes. Dreams wait. For whenever men challenge the river's current, they must fight, first in rafts, canoes, and boats, and then to join the river's banks with bridges. But when has the Mississippi faced such an assault as this? From men who must go under it for the sake of hundreds of thousands of people 1,000 miles away. For here at Lake Providence is the main barrier to an urgently needed natural gas pipeline. That line must carry the miracle of natural gas from southwest fields to thousands of families in the Appalachian area. Families who must have the gas and must have it now. It's rugged country that line must run through, 860 miles of it, from southern Louisiana to Kentucky and West Virginia. A 30-inch tube of steel built by the Gulf Interstate Gas Company at a cost of over $100 million, built to carry millions of cubic feet of gas every day to the customers of Columbia Gas System, from Kentucky and West Virginia to Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, and New York. But before that gas flows, the Mississippi must be crossed, and it must be crossed here. Here, where a boy sometimes plays, but where he'll see now an adventure that goes beyond his dreams. What kind of a barrier is this river that's in the way? It's 2 miles wide here, 4 miles from levee to levee, 60 to 70 feet deep in places, with a current so strong men dare not go onto the river without a life jacket. The river has seen many strange and awkward craft come to battle with it. But none so strange as this. This is a dredge designed to carve a safe bed for the pipe out of the muddy river bottom. A bed big enough for 2 lines, 100 feet wide and 40 feet deep. Foot by foot, the job gets done. Tons of river bottom sucked up every hour and deposited far from the navigation channel. And foot by foot, the contrary river does its best to fill the trench before the pipe can be lowered in. When the trench is finished, another will be needed downstream for 2 more lines. 4 lines in all, just to be on the safe side. That's the way the engineers must reckon with the Mississippi. the shores, more men and more machines are brought up for the final assault on the river. A trench is dug through the obstinate earth, a home for the pipeline, leased for such a long time that your children's children are promised the miracle of gas. And the pipe itself, high tensile carbon steel, each section 40 feet long, handled by men who know just how to handle it. Protected with steel bars. Wrapped in wire mesh. Sprayed with a thick layer of concrete to make it stronger. To make sure, too, that it remains firmly anchored in the trench and in the river itself. The pipe is brought by barge to the crossing site. It's maneuvered into position at the water's edge. Then it is strung along the trench in the riverbank by machines and equipment you'll find only on a pipeline. Welded together, the pipe will take 1,200 pounds of pressure per square inch, more than will be required in normal use. This is an extra precaution, one of many that are taken. Once the gas starts to flow, it must not be interrupted. Ready now on the river. A critical moment, a climax. 3 joints of pipe, 30 tons of it. They are swung into position on the loading ramp. Then are made secure on the track cars and are joined to the line already in the water. On the river, it is a job that goes on 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, day after day, until it is finished. But it's not all work. There is time to relax, to read a newspaper, to eat good food, and talk with a 12-year-old boy who lives along the river and is learning about that strange, rugged breed of men who build our pipelines, no matter what the obstacles. Back then to the river to lay 40,000 feet of pipe under the water in 4 lines. Back to X-raying each joint before it is eased into the water. Back to coating and protecting the weld once it passes inspection. Back to the pipe, poised on its ramp, ready for the river. Back finally to the dredge, working now in reverse. Returning to the river bottom, the sand and clay borrowed temporarily to build a trench. For in pipeline work, the land, the cut in the bank, the river itself must be restored as nearly as possible to their original state. What does a day like this mean to a boy in Lake Providence? Does it matter that this one job takes 6 months of working round the clock every day, night and day? Or that the river, for the time being perhaps, has been beaten? Or is it just another day, something wonderful that happens to a boy? Food for dreams? It's hard to say. But to the Ohio housewife, to the kid in West Virginia, to the baker in Kentucky, to the plant in Pennsylvania, to all these, to the many thousands who must have natural gas, who now depend on Columbia Gas to supply it, the crossing at Lake Providence is another victory in the battle to deliver it.